Da, 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 da.
All right, let's get it started.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
All right, so cool.
Yeah.
Let's go right into it.
Yeah. What's up, Playboy?
All right, welcome back to the
All
world.
right.
All
That's
right,
right. The
so
real world.
let's go. Let's go right into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is SDL Magazine number 6. Right now, I'm speaking to uh, a DJ music legend. And when I say dance
Ah,
music, I mean dance music for dancers, not just dance music, because there's two different categories. You have DJs that play dance music, and you have DJs that play dance music for dancers that dancers appeal to. And I'm speaking with one of these individuals right now, Mr. E-Man Clark. What's going on, brother?
man. Beyond all the limits of modern man technology, life is so good. That's all I can say at this point. I'm just happy I made that one phone call, and here we are, brother. And if you need me to do another segment, I'm more than happy to give you what you missed.
All right, yeah, we got to cut this a little bit short because we missed like a good 40 minutes, but it's all good. We'll try to get as much as we possibly can.
Okay,
All
no
right,
problem.
so within this interview, I want to break it up into 3 parts, and of course, the first part is going to be the After the Ashes post-disco era of NYC. So before
Mhm.
we get into that subject, let's get into who we're talking to, Mr. E-Man. Who are you? Where you from?
Well, I'm originally from Mount Vernon, New York, home of Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Denzel Washington, Gus Williams, a couple of NBA players, and that's my original hometown, although everybody thinks I'm from Brooklyn. I am originally from Mount Vernon, New York. And that's where it all began, right there. That's where everything, it all goes back to Brooklyn. I mean, it all goes back to Mount Vernon.
We also can't forget the overweight lover, man.
Huh?
We can't forget the overweight lover, Heavy D.
Oh, come on. We can't forget Hev. We can't forget Hev, man. That's right. Well, him or True God. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Rest in peace, both of them, man. And
You
yeah,
mean
man.
Trouble T
He's quite a
Roy.
character. Trouble T. Roy. Yo, I was actually in his video Now That We Found Love. I was in that video. I was the 3-car Monty dealer in that video. So if you go back,
Really?
yes,
So you
sir.
knew Hev on a personal level.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, Heavy did not really care too much for me because as the video went on, he tried to got all indignant with me and stuff like that. You know? So I was like, okay, man.
Politics
He
of the
don't
biz, I
like me.
guess.
God bless. It's all good.
Politics of the biz, like I said. It happens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
when did you I understand that okay, you started DJing, but what was before that? Like did you start DJing right away or what was your transition like?
Well, I, you know, being old and shit, um, when I went to school, I went to college actually, and when I went there, my interest was broadcasting. I thought I wanted to be a radio DJ personality type thing. But by the time I graduated, well, actually, very close to it, like my junior year or something, I really started to see radio kind of phasing out and them moving in another direction.
Mm,
So I double majored in speech as well as communications. You know what I mean?
mm,
And so and then like I said, I come from a different time period. I come from a time period before computers. I come from a time period when people still got their music from FM radio and stuff like that. So when I came home, it was, 1979, 80. I was finished school. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And decided then, well, it took a turn from, I was at the time when I got home, I had scored a job in this mom and pop record store. I was working with these people, and
Mm.
they were beautiful people. But I really felt like I would really like to pursue I had an interest in pursuing some kind of music industry job, like at a label or something like that. So
Okay.
I got in through the store. I got involved with a couple of their promotional things that they were doing, and I met some people at labels and stuff like that. And through those people, I was able to start a kind of like a network of people who were already plugged into the Manhattan scene. And one of my good friends, I went to a show and he said, listen, man, if you really want to get in this, man, this is the kind of venue. I went to see I went to the Ritz, and I went
Mm.
to a promotional show for Terrence Trent D'Arby, you know what I mean? And I went to that show, and my friend suggested to me that this is the kind of place that he thinks that I should try to get a job at. So I did so. And
What year was this?
I don't know, whatever year Terrence Trent came out, it was definitely, I would say sometime in the 80s.
Okay.
Sometime in the 80s, that's when this happened, because it wasn't, I wasn't really, like I said, I was a music collector at that point. I worked in a couple of record stores and stuff like that, but I had really never done anything industry related until I started going to these promotional events. Then, after I got my job at the Ritz, that was the first time that I actually played in a big club. I played a couple of gigs at the Ritz. And then,
Okay.
after that, I kind of got the bug, like, I could, there's possibilities I could actually do this. I do like records. I do have a radio background. I do know how to put the damn vinyl on, take it off,
Mm.
and put on some more. So I did feel like, it was a possibility that I could be a DJ, So, I was playing different shows there. I did the Obie Awards one year, Jeffrey Osborne, jazz shows, anything. There was a girl there who was the DJ, but she basically liked to do all the rock and roll shows and all of that. But the manager of the club said he enjoyed what I played, and he said, I'm gonna recommend you to play some of these shows. Just be ready when it happens. So he did, and I started getting attuned to putting music on and putting it together and stuff like that. And then things kind of took over after that. I was living downtown and still doing, I was also a bouncer, you know what I mean? So, a lot of different things happened. Different things happened that kind of like led me to be in a position to get a residency at a club in Manhattan. So it kind of led to that. And that one space was the place that's where you got turned on to me, which was Sapphire Lounge.
Well, I spoke with Louis Key, and he basically mentioned to me that he used to be a dancer.
God bless Lewis. I appreciate that, Luz. I really do. Really appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Well, anywhere near the level of Mr. Keene, but I was
Mm.
a person who enjoyed the music that David played. See, the thing was, there were the people that went to the garage and the people that went to the loft, and some people went to both.
Right.
I went to, I went to parties before the garage and the loft. I went to Buttermilk Bottom. I went to Ones. I went to all over the Melons and Tribeca and all these other different clubs. But there was something about when I got to the loft that was home to me. It was just like incredible people, incredible dancers, and that's where I chose to call my home. And they always say there's, you get something out of repetition, and I remember vividly going to the loft for 5 years straight without missing a very few, at least, weekends in between, many Saturdays in between. We're talking heat waves and snowstorms and rainstorms and fires and all of that. I was there every Saturday.
Same.
So
I spoke with Gregory. He was in the second edition, and he was mentioning some clubs before the loft, like, you know, the Gallery. He mentioned
yep,
Bottom McBottom. Did you
that
go
was
to any
his.
of these other clubs?
Yeah, I went to see I went to the Gallery a couple of times, and I used to go to Buttermilk. Buttermilk Bottom was really the first gay club that I had ever went to. You know,
Okay.
that was the one I went to when I was 17, when I was still in college. Actually, I went there before I went to school, and then I went to school, and then when I would come home in between, sometimes I would go there. But it was one of the nicest clubs, and Nicky was his friend and a good DJ, and like he was saying that
He mentioned
him
Nikki.
and Mike Dungy and Lewis and
Mm-hmm.
all those guys used to dance there. You know what I'm saying? So I was turned on to them there. Then I
Mm.
was back and forth to New York. I wasn't here on a regular basis until '79. Well, between '79 and '80. That's when I
Mm.
resurfaced in New York. And then when I got to the loft, I saw Mike Dungy again. I saw Greg again. I saw Lewis again. And then this is where we established all our friendships and stuff like that. And then just me, just from being a person who was a basketball player and in decent shape and stuff like that, I used to just like to go there and, enjoy the music, man, because that's really what it was really all about, man. But and
So
Lewis,
you were
man, was the man because Lewis was hooked up with Unique Clothing Warehouse, which was the exclusive clothing of all the garages and the lofters and all of that. So
I used to go. I remember
him,
that. That was like my first clothing store in the village. I remember that store vividly. Yes, sir.
him and my boy Gabriel
Uniques.
Serrano, Gabe, they both worked there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that worked there, and the better you know those people, the more stuff gets slipped in your bag, and you know what I'm saying. You pay for something and then be like, oh damn, got extra pair of baggies and shit. You know what I'm saying? And
I'll
stuff like that.
I'll share a funny story real quick. Out of Uniques, I basically, and this is true, I basically stole my first jacket from Uniques because I'm coming from East New York, Brooklyn, and I
Right.
remember I didn't go in there with the intention to steal, but I went there and it was the army jackets that were out. I forgot the
Yeah.
the, the term name, but they made black,
White
green,
jackets or
brown,
which ones? The military? I mean the
military. Yeah, with the zipper on the top, with the
were
hood
they flight
inside.
jackets? Were they flight jackets or were they like part of the uniform, like a sergeant's jacket, or because they had a lot of those, so they had everything actually.
No, it was like your comment. If for those who want to know, look at Nas' video. It ain't hard to tell. Or he's in the snow. He's wearing like a brown military jacket.
Right.
It ain't hard to tell. I think that's the video. But anyway, I go in there, try it on, green or black, can't remember, doesn't matter. And I'm in the back because it was a walk-through store. The entrance was had entrance on Broadway and Crosby. And I remember going to the
Yeah.
Crosby side, huge store, and the bouncer, the doorman, saw me trying on the jacket, and he says to me, "Yo, you want that jacket? You like it?" I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." He's like, "You can have it." And I looked at him like, "Yeah, but I gotta pay for it." And he's like, "Nah, go ahead." And at first I thought he was joking. And he literally saw me walk out the door with the jacket on. True story.
That's hot. I probably knew him too. You know what I'm
Beautiful.
saying?
My first jacket.
But there was some
Um,
wonderful people that worked there. It
so
really
getting
was.
back into speed. So basically you were DJing and dancing at the same time.
Well, for a long time, yeah, for a long time, once I established myself, which took years to do, as far as being a DJ good enough to play house music, because Lord knows I caught all kind of bullshit about being a DJ because
It's a skill.
you know there's these certain particular record stores
Mm-hmm.
in the city, the dance tracks and the vinyl manias and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
that have these people selling you music.
Mm-hmm.
You go there, you got to go get your fix. Because at that time you had to, if you were playing anyway, you definitely had to go to vinyl. You had to go and get hit off with what was hot and all of that.
Right.
And there was one particular cat who just loved to tell motherfuckers how bad I was as far as house music DJs were concerned. He's like, yo, he'll
You
never
had your
play
critic.
house music.
Mm.
He'll play house music. He's like, he needs to stay with hip hop or break beat or whatever he does, but he'll never be good enough to play house music. So, yo, you really never tell a fucking Virgo what the fuck he can't do. Because all it does is
Mm.
just fuel his passion to just become very good at something. So, what
Right.
did I do? I got some equipment. I just made sure that I practiced all the time until I did get good enough to play. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mm.
when I'm hiring that fucking idiot to be one of the residents of my the party that I wound up throwing, Bang the Party, I wound up hiring it, and it was not Adam Scott, who actually Adam at Vinyl Mania,
Adam.
at
Yes, I
the
remember
time.
Adam. Long
All
dreads,
right,
right?
Adam, yes, Adam. Me and Adam kind of sparked off kind of a friendship. And at that time, I was working on the television show New York Undercover. And I would, I'd be somewhere downtown or something like that. I shoot in Vinyl Mania and get some music and talk to Adam. And I was like, yo, Adam, what the hell? Why aren't you? I said, you're a good ass DJ. You be playing in the store, selling people
Mm-hmm.
tracks and all that, but he playing. I said, dude, why
Mm-hmm.
ain't you playing nowhere? Why ain't you playing
Mm-hmm.
nowhere? Oh, it ain't that. It's like, so I thought about what he said and, thought politics and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said, man, yo, you know what? I'm going to start a party. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start a party. I know enough people outside of this. I know a lot of people in this whole community, but
Mm-hmm.
removed from that, I
Mm-hmm.
know a bunch of people who work at a fucking television show. So you're not telling me that I'm going to not go to this club and say, listen, I work on a television show and I really want to start doing an event here. And, I'm sure that some of the people that I work with will come through. Now, at that time, New York Undercover was a pretty popular show. So Malik Yoba was popular, Michael DiLorenzo was popular, Ice-T was in it, Ice was popular. So, yo, we
So
got
let's.
in there, that's just to bang the party segment. But before I did bang the party, I did a party called G-Force, where it was a bi-level party. On one, it was on Avenue A. Actually, it's where it was right above. If you know what Drone is, if you know Drone used to be
Well,
opening where
yes.
we did bang the party, but upstairs right near the Japanese restaurant, there used to be a club there. It used to be a rock and roll club called Babyland. And then Babyland wound up turning into the Chameleon Lounge. We did a party called G-Force there. That was the first event that I actually did. And we had hip hop in the basement. And I was upstairs playing from soup to nuts. I wasn't just playing like straight house music. I was really playing like uh I would play New Bell by Hugh Masekela. I'd play Bra. I'd play Dove. I'd play Cornerstone by Creative Source. And just different breaks and stuff like that. Plus
Well, you know
Spanish.
what?
I play.
I wanna. I. I wanna put this interview in chronological order. So we're gonna
Right.
actually gonna play music. I asked you to choose like 10 tracks, but before you play your first song, I want to ask you on the fact of you going out to these clubs in the early days, right? Early 80s. And I want to ask you, when was your fly on the wall period? And I ask this everybody. Your fly on the wall period is basically when people knew that there was someone called E-Man and they could basically put a face with the name. How long, when you first walked into the club, how long did it take for people to actually know who you are?
It really didn't take that long, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of variables involved in the whole popularity of, excuse me, certain individuals because of, whatever they're, they were cats from Uptown, they were cats from Brooklyn, they were cats from Bronx. Everybody was, who they was. Now, me, when I first started going there, one of my boys from Mount Vernon, who used to go to the garage too, he said to me, he said, yo, you're going to love the Loft, man. That shit is you all day. He was right. You know what I mean? But our claim to fame was, I was what I would say about a crew of about 5 to 7 cats. We would come up in there together. We was all from Mount Vernon. They were, my friends were kind of clannish. They hung out. They wasn't trying to get popular. But yo, we was Uptown kids, man. So we didn't ask nobody for nothing.
Blunts and Brew, I know what that is, of course.
We didn't know. We didn't have to ask them for nothing. We didn't, we came fully equipped with what we needed to do, We had our own drink. We had our own drugs. We had whatever we was partaking in. And it wasn't long before, certain people was peeping us. You know what I'm saying? And, I was meeting people, I was the one who kind of like, I am that person who, I do want to meet people, you know what I'm saying? And I do want people to be like, yo, what's up? So I was meeting cats, you know what I mean? And a lot of them were the neighborhood drug dealing cats for these specific spots,
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like, oh, man, yo, if you need some, just let me know. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good, good. You know what I'm saying? So that's doing the what's happening and all of that. But them reiterating the fact. So one of my boys just straight up said to me one day, yo, man, you never ask anybody for nothing, man. Yo, I said, yeah, that's how we roll, man. We ain't trying to bother people, we just hear this music and do what we gotta do. But so my man go, yo, man, the reality is, I just really want to taste your package because that shit is fucking crazy, yo. And I'm like, so I gave my man like, a glass or something, and he was like, damn, man, this shit is like, we're not selling shit like this. I said, well, that's why we're not for shit like that. But eventually the word got around. There was like, oh,
you that doctor. You were the doctor. You were the MD.
It was like that. And then we was, listen, there was times in my life when I was going to the Loft, I wasn't even going to the Loft if I didn't have a fucking 8-ball, fucking a whole bottle of gin or whatever the hell I was drinking, and a fucking quarter to a half ounce of fucking Thai weed or some crazy shit like that. So eventually, that's what our crew was known for, because it was like, yo, as soon as we light our shit up, I was like, yeah, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
It didn't take long. Got it. Didn't take long.
Credit at all. We had a lot of friends.
Credited.
And we wasn't moving shit. We wasn't talking about like, yo, I wasn't out there distributing or nothing like that. I was just That was just all for personal. That was just all for Delph. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was
Right.
what it was. It was a different time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like said, could we do the things that we did then, now? No, of course not. But it
No,
was just a
different time.
special time,
Yeah, yeah.
different time, you know?
Okay, we got some tracks. Let's hear that first one.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let's see what we got here for you. It says spans 10 tracks. And I think there's 11 here. But, all right, let's see. You know what I'm gonna do? This track that I am most known for. This is the first track that actually took off. But
Okay.
instead of doing it like playing something that everyone has heard a million times.
Right.
Now the track's name is It's Yours. But this track was called Would You Flaunt It? It goes a little something like this.
Hit it.
Yeah, good? Okay.
Greg is on.
Yo, what's good?
Roberto, Still, Chow, Louis King.
That's sir, that's right. That's
I'm giving
right.
all the shout outs. Naritza, thank you for joining. Julia, thank you for joining. Kareem, Francis in the house. E. All right, give me a fade out. Let's talk about that track.
What makes you journey into the night and take flight on a pursuit of musical bliss? Chasing beats through ghetto streets to a dungeonous temple left by our soul descendants in a quest for peace, energy, and light. If you were to find this temple, would you have the knowledge to enter this temple? Do you want it? And if you had it, would you flaunt it?
Nice. All right, give me a fade out. Let's talk about that track. George.
So yeah, that's how that
All
one.
right. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, before we start, I want to mention to everybody watching, feel free to ask questions throughout this entire interview. Whatever you want to ask E-Man, this is his time. Whatever questions you have about the music. C Boogie, what's going on, babe? Connecticut is in the house. Ask this man,
Yo,
he's
up,
here.
brother?
All right,
Good,
talk
baby?
about that song. When was that song produced?
Well,
And who did it?
that was the first. Actually, that was the first record. Actually, it's not. The first record that I told you my voice was on was a record with Sable Jeffries called Day by Day, but I was just singing background in it. That was actually the first track. John Cutler wanted me to write the track. I wrote the track. That was the track that we wrote, and that was actually my biggest song. You know what I mean? And then me and Doc, once we started Liberate, we did it over, and that was the result of the do over. But I wrote the song in 20 minutes because Don had a hot date, and he
Okay.
was talking about, yo, man, you just got to lay it down, man, because I got to get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to be fumbling over it. Just go ahead, do what you do. You know, give me some E-Man shit, and let's get the fuck up out of here. I was like, all right.
All
And
right,
that's
give me,
exactly what George came from.
keep a list of those songs because I'm going to ask you for the title because I'm definitely going to give the credits. All right. So I want to talk about the first subject, which is basically after the ashes, post disco era of NYC. I believe
Right.
you were there. What was that like?
After disco.
Yeah, after the ashes.
Well, it was a strange time. You know, it was a strange time because there was, you know, by the end of disco, there was such a backlash over it. You know that you know, it became bigger than a dance issue. It became like a music issue, like when you had cats burning disco records in stadiums and shit like that. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It was intense, but
mm,
I think it was a strange time, but it was still crazy music. Like New York had a very unique sound in that time period, like with uh with the brass constructions and Crown Heights Affairs and the Crystal Glass and so many groups
hold up, E, 1 second.
that
Luz
put
is asking, what was the name of that first track you played? Sorry.
it's yours. Well, the name of that it was Lewis. It was originally It's Yours when it came out with me and John Cutler, but me and Doc did that version over, and it's called Would You Flaunt It? That's the
Okay.
version. That's the version that you heard.
All right,
Hmm.
cool. So continue.
No, there was just a whole lot. I mean, there were so many, you know, conversion, and you had the Black Ivory and Leroy Burgess, and it was just like
Man.
a whole lot of different cats. There was just like a whole lot of cats making beautiful music. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And if you think about it, after disco, there was a nice soulful uh, research of dance music. Like one of my mentors. That's when Strafe came into the play. That's when Set It Off got jumped off. All the
mm,
records that Strafe did, and like
mm,
I said, you had those people that kind of like surged like soulful sound into the forefront. But all of the real funk groups and stuff like that, they all had dance music. Like you know what I mean? Like the
mm,
Cool and the Gang went mad disco, but then they came back home and started doing soul stuff. But
mm,
they had a disco run. Crown Heights, you know what I mean? But
right.
they were such talented people. Look, that's the time when between the 70s and 80s when it's like Heat Wave, Function. It was just a whole Chaka Khan, Rufus. You know what I'm saying? All of those
Right.
different people from like, sounds from Chicago,
Mm,
sounds from New York,
mm,
still influencing Lakeside, Pleasure, sounds from LA, Take a Chance, all the music that Pleasure made,
mm,
Joyous, and
mm,
see, it was just a whole lot of music. Dave Mancuso would play all that music, believe it or not. He would play Clouds by Shaka Khan, play
mm,
Take a Chance by Pleasure, West Coast. You know what I mean?
mm,
He played Moving On by Brass Construction or music. That was a million. I'm gonna tell
mm,
you, Rick Muller, the guy who put together groups like Sky, Construction, that dude is so understated. probably one of the main influences on black dance music. It's really can't that about them all. But there was just a well of knowledge and there was a well of good music still. Yeah, I mean, and then like I said, then you had the mainstream ones, you had the mandrills and the five and great stuff too. It was all danceable. Think about all the music on the Sky album that you can still think about all the music on a George Duke album right now that you still dance Brazilian love, something like that.
Brazilian Love Affair.
All that
Yeah.
in its moment, all that music in its moment, a lot of it was overlooked. Only certain people like Dick play it. You know what I mean? It wasn't mainstream. Radio didn't embrace it. Or if they did embrace it, you know, either the George Duke records on WRVR,
Right.
because that was a jazz label. I mean, a jazz station. With Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff on BLS, cause
Wait a sec. You're breaking up really bad. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Okay,
I haven't touched it. All right, yeah, but it really, it was just a lot of music to really. And then, you got Francois and David, music that they were adding to the mix, like that's what the part of it that was the best to me, like David adding Macho City by Steve Miller. That was, to me, Touch or Elephant by the Talking Heads. I mean, it was just a lot. I mean, and I have been to clubs that played formats similar to that because I worked in a rock and roll venue, but I also at the same time went to dances, went to Mud Club, worked in Save the Robots, from time to time working and stuff like that. So I was just embracing a whole lot of different music. I'm glad you put that. In that particular time period, the time period that we were all friends, we were much more open. Things not having to be in a category. Now everything is too categorized. Reggae, it has to be rap, it has to be some kind of box so people can say what it is in order for you to enjoy it. And I think it does such a justice, so much, That's my opinion.
Nice. But at this time, around this time, you were DJing or were you dancing?
When I started working at the Brits, I was doing both.
Okay.
And then there was a time when, between that and Sapphire, I was on some hired gun type shit. I was playing like almost at a different club every night.
Okay.
Somewhere. You know what I mean? I remember Kim Lightfoot said to me, he's like, yo, Kim used to live in my neighborhood. He's like, damn, man.
Who are you talking about?
Real.
I didn't hear this.
Kim Lightfoot. Okay. Me and Kim used to be the same. You're a real professional because you're supposed to play every week. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't turn after I started playing. I didn't turn down. And then at the same time, the way I hung out, I wasn't shy about moving in and out of genres, some breakbeat shit. Because listen, soul, there was a party going on at the time. Remember, Soul Kitchen, Giant Step was going on. There was a whole lot of different sounds going on.
You said Soul Kitchen and Giant Step was a party that was going on.
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they were big in that time period. So one was also Giant Step was kind of like the UK, like you know, you had DJ Smash, he used to play a robot, but you know, he was putting the, you know, he was putting like the new, new soul type vibe out. Lewis. Okay, Lewis says, no, I want to ask you a question about the fact that you did house music in the club. What do you get? The verse you say, oh, I don't care. Oh man, New Reality, Lewis. That is the name of that song. New Reality. Yes. Oh, New Reality. New Reality is based upon telling people that, you know, the music is more important than your clique, the venue, the DJ, to girl, to man, it's your connection to what it's also a language that's, you know, it's a language. Music is a language. We just, you know, we speak it in different dialects, but it's just something that people connect to. Whether they, I mean, you can connect to jazz or you can connect to classical. It's still one language. So, yeah, Lou, thanks for that, man. Thanks for my brain work.
Okay, so let's go into another track, and then we're gonna go into part two. This ends. So let's this track is part one.
This is one of the tracks. It's wave music.
What's the name of it?
Prayer. And
Okay.
It's done with Marcus and Knox and myself.
All right.
We did two tracks. Me and Marcus did two tracks. We did one for Louis, for Francois. He wanted musical prayer, and then at the same time when I was in Sweden, I wrote actually before I went to Sweden, me and Laurie Cavall, my partner at Bang the Party at the time I grew up, I Am the Road. So we recorded both of those. And this is another one of those records that we made over. After it became popular, that's your vibe right there.
Sometimes music takes you places that you've been or want to go. It makes a giant meek as a lamb, makes a weak man strong, brings life to a dead soul, moves mountains, parts rivers, makes a deaf man speak and a lame man leap. It's funny to think something so natural, so mystical, totally affects us all. But it does. Do you allow yourself to be moved? Do you lose yourself and then re-find yourself in the music.
Nice, nice. All right, man. So I'm about to log off real quick and restart part 2. All right, brother. So we'll log off and then we'll restart and start part 2.
Okay, you got it. So I just got to go through the same motion of the.
Same thing, same motion. Yep.
Okay, cool. You got it.
There we go.